off with a very easy one. You're going to get your 3-minute stump speech. Tell us why you're here, why you want us to vote for them. We're going to go right down in ballot order. We're going to rotate around. We're going to start with Stowe.
Hello everyone. I'm Stohle Lim, a progressive, pragmatic Obama Democrat, and I'm running to be our next delegate. I immigrated to Virginia from Korea in the 70s. My family didn't have much, but this community gave us a shot. Good schools, good neighbors, and a real opportunity. I started a business, raised my 2 boys here, put them through college. Today, I'm the grateful, proud product of this amazing community and its ability to fulfill every family's middle-class dream. But now, I'm watching it slip away from the next generation. And I'm running for delegate to fight to get it back. 35 years running a business taught me one thing. You bring people together, you get stuff done, you create opportunity, and then tackle the next thing. On the Fairfax City Council, I was able to bring consensus, talk to everyone despite our differences, to do what's right for our residents. I helped engineer the Asian Festival in Maine, 25,000 people boosting local businesses every year. Before that, as the president of the principal Korean American Civic Association in the nation. And long before K-pop became as American as apple pie, I helped expand the International Chorus Festival, 50,000 attendees, job fairs, real economic opportunity, a showcase for our vibrant, diverse community. My history of getting stuff done is a matter of public record, and I wake up every day trying to figure out more ways to turn our diversity into an economic engine. That's what Obama Democrats do. We build bridges and we deliver results. I'm proud to stand on those accomplishments and build on them in Richmond. As a delegate, I fight to protect our multicultural community, our federal workers, and our democracy from Trump's cruelty. To maintain our public schools as the envy of the nation, to make housing affordable again, families and our senior citizens choose between rent and groceries and medicine and dignity. I'm running to cut red tape on small businesses, ensuring that the government is a partner in economic growth. 3 decades of work, years of trust as a productive member of the Fairfax City Council, as a small business owner, and as a civic leader, straight up results in building jobs, community, and opportunity. This community gave me everything. Now I'm fighting to give the next generation a real shot, and I sincerely ask for your vote. Thank you.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for pulling this together in such short notice, and thank you to our hosts. It's really an honor for me to be here, and I should also say that this is the first time this is being streamed live in Spanish radio. So, right? This is the first time, right? Right. So that's, I think, great. My name is Vanessa Cardena, and here's what you need to know about me. I am a longtime resident of the city of Fairfax. I raised my 2 kids here, and they both went through the public school system here. I'm also the proud wife and happy wife of a union member, and I'm also a graduate of George Mason University, both from my undergrad and my graduate degree. And I have dedicated my life to progressive causes, whether that is fighting for women's rights, whether that is fighting for economic mobility for all families, fighting for access to healthcare, and because of who I am and where I come from, fighting for a path to citizenship for people that have been here and working and are essential workers across industries in Virginia. And the reason I dedicated my life to those causes is because I feel so privileged that I've had the ability to fulfill the American dream. And I feel passionate and committed to fight to strengthen the ladder of opportunity for all of us. And I'll be remiss to say, not to mention, that the reason I'm also running is because today, people like me, regardless of citizenship, are being targeted by our government. And I refuse to be put back in the shadows or to live in fear. So I hope I will earn your vote. There's a lot that you can learn about me on my website, vanessaforvirginia.com. But my commitment here is to fight for all working families. So thank you so much.
Good afternoon. Thanks for coming out today. Special thanks to the Fairfax City Democratic Committee, the George Mason Dems, and yay, Josh Alexander. Thank you for continuing to make this the go-to place for elections here in our district. Yay, Josh. I want you to know 3 things about me. I have experience leading people, working with complex budgets, and in complex issues. As director of Historic Alexandria, I lead a team of 75 people and a $4.5 million budget. I run 8 museums, the city's archaeology program, and the Archives and Records Center. And I was very honored to be given the opportunity to spearhead the social justice program for the city of Alexandria, and even more honored to receive a recognition from the Alexandria chapter of the NAACP for our terrific work. I have the skills, the organizational skills, the drive, and the budgeting experience to be your representative in the House of Delegates and be effective in the General Assembly. Number 2, this community is so special to me. I grew up here. I went to Robinson High School. David and I got to know each other well in government class. We went to William and Mary together. When we got married, we chose to live here in the community and raise our children here. And we have just such a commitment to public service and our community. And I think I've shown that kind of every day. I've done the work to support teachers and students in our schools through the PTO. I've helped to develop leaders through my 23 years in scouting. Quick shout out to PAC 41 and Troop 1865. And I established and led for 8 years our community's National Night Out Against Crime. And I'm just so pleased that they're continuing to do this today. I know that our community, and I will bring that knowledge to this position. So number 3, I have been working to elect Democrats for over 30 years. Well, after we first got married, we joined FCDC, 1993, came back from our honeymoon. The very first thing we did was go to an organizational meeting for a Democrat running for the House of Delegates where we used to live, which is now the Bonnie Brae precinct. I remember back then, it was a swing district. Election nights were really disappointing back then, but look how far we've come together. We have done the work, the grassroots efforts, and I am ready to celebrate with you with Abigail Spanberger. Thank you
very much.
Thank you. Doug Schuster. I'm here for the diversity quotient. I'm a man from Poston. And I want to really thank the organizers. I know all the hard work you put in on the short notice. I name all of you, but I know there's not time. I've lived in Northern Virginia for about 20 years, and all of my kids have gone through Fairfax County Public Schools. I studied economics and international development at Clark University and Fletcher School at Tufts. Along the way, I've worked as a carpenter, a stonemason, a pizza chef, and other jobs to support myself. Much of my life has been dedicated to public service. I served in the Peace Corps as a volunteer doing water and sanitation work in a village in Ghana for a few years. I served as a federal civil servant with the U.S. Trade and Development Agency for about 8 years covering Asia and Africa, and my career is focused on international development, working in about 50 countries with leaders in government and private sector, and focused on infrastructure planning, covering energy, transportation, water, sanitation, telecom, and smart cities. And I hope to bring that experience to this position if I'm elected. I left the federal government about 15 years, and I'm running my own small consulting firm. We made it through COVID, and just barely, and we've made it through the stop work order from Trump on foreign assistance, and it looks like we're going to get started up again. I'm passionate about local and state governments, and have been for a long time, because I think it's where the rubber hits the road. It's what actually matters in most people's lives. Federal government, the national politics gets all the attention, in the headlines. But the truth is that this is where things really happen. I started working on local issues in Nova when I successfully about 15 years ago. And when I moved to Oakton, I knew that a community needed a voice, so I joined the Mellor Heights Neighborhood Association, and as president there, I led efforts for traffic calming and for environmental management and other projects while I've been there. My style is to be very accessible. I give my cell phone and email to anybody who wants to talk. And my approach to representation is trying to put my finger on the pulse of my constituency at all times, by any means possible. I tackle the issues by rolling up my sleeves and figuring things out. As you see the request of the night, I don't have all of my platform developed. I got on a plane in the Middle East. As I was heading to my plane, I got the notice this was happening, and while I was traveling home, I put together the documentation in this, over the last 24 hours with not much sleep. So forgive me if I seem a little bit dazed, but anyways, thank you very much, and I hope to get your vote. Thanks.
Hi folks, who does not love a 6-day campaign, right? My name is Denver Supinger, and I'm running to be your House delegate. I'm a daughter of Virginia. I was born and raised in this great Commonwealth, but raised by a single mother who's struggling with addiction. We relied on community and government programs, and because of those, I was able to stay in school, get the education, and build my way up to this wonderful county, to this wonderful district. Those programs were not a handout, they were a lifeline. And unfortunately, right now, more people than ever need that lifeline here in House District 11. With the windfall of what we're seeing on Capitol Hill, we are losing millions of dollars in funding, thousands of workers are unemployed, and we are not giving back to them after the years they've given to us. I have experience and dedicated my entire life to making sure that government works for everyone, not just the few. It should uplift the most vulnerable and put them at the center. I've created water assistance programs that ensure that people keep their water running in the city of Richmond. I've worked here in Fairfax County expanding transportation options to ensure that everyone, your neighbors, could get on a bus and go to work so you can live, work, and thrive here in our backyard. I've also worked with law enforcement, local government, state government, and minority communities to fight hate. Hate that we just saw yesterday on Bondi Beach in Australia. We need to do more. We need to make sure we bring these people to the center of that narrative, and that's what we're doing. Currently, I am fighting to expand healthcare access, affordability, and live and uplift the voice of those with disabilities on Capitol Hill. We fought the we fought the Medicaid work requirements, and unfortunately that's going through. But Virginia has the opportunity to create programs and opportunities for folks who are losing their care on January 27th. I'm here to work for you all. We need to build for a future that ensures that everyone can thrive. Being a young Democrat, I know that I'm questioning my ability to raise a family sustainably and with dignity in this area. I know there are thousands of folks in this district who are questioning if they can age with dignity in this area due to the issue of affordability and accessibility. We need to do more. I want to go down to Richmond, not for me, but for you all, for your issues, for your concerns. I will fight for affordability and access. I'll make sure that data centers don't drive up our utility bills. I will make sure Virginia uses every tool in their toolbox to expand affordable housing. And I will make sure that our workers are protected so they can get the most out of their workplace to support their families and that they have the right to unionize. I will be here to make sure that our economy, our budget, and more is focused on the most vulnerable and supporting folks throughout their lifeline. My name is Denver Supinger. I hope to earn your vote, and I thank you for your time.
We're going to do a rapid fire round because I was told I have to ask the questions in front of me. So the next questions is a quick round. We're going to start with Vanessa. It's a simple yes or no here. So you can just give a thumbs up yes or no. These are the 4 constitutional amendments that are on the ballot. So I'm going to read the amendment and we're going to go around of yes or no, do you support it. The first one, Virginia removed constitutional same-sex marriage ban amendment. This would repeal the provision defining marriage as between one man and one woman and prohibit the state from denying a marriage license to two adult persons based on sex, gender, or race. Vanessa.
Repeal it, yes. Vote for it.
Done.
Excuse me.
No, wait. I'm sorry.
Yeah, can you say the question? That's not different. I think it was.
Yes, so I totally botched that. It's going to happen every now and then. We'll try again in here. So the delegates have to vote for this in the General Assembly to then put it onto the constitutional amendment. There are 4 in here. Whether you would vote for or against the amendment is what we're looking for. Yeah. So did I get that better, Laura?
And they're voting with the Democratic caucus.
With the Democratic caucus on there. So
Yes.
is that better framed in there for everybody? Awesome. We have 3 more chances at this. It's going to be just fine. So the first one we get is the Virginia removed constitutional same-sex marriage ban amendment. So if you would be for it as a delegate.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
As a queer woman, absolutely.
Absolutely aye.
Excellent. We have a full yes on there. The second one, trying again framing it this way. The Virginia Right to Reproductive Freedom Amendment. This would provide a state constitutional right to make reproductive freedom, defined as the right to make and effectuate one's own decisions about all matters related to one's pregnancy. Starting Gretchen.
Yes.
Yes.
With honor.
Yes.
See.
Number 3, Virginia use of legislative congressional redistricting map amendment. This would allow the state's legislature to conduct congressional redistricting between 2025 and 2030. Starting with Doug.
Yes. I'm sorry, the full filling rights?
No, this is the redistricting.
The redistricting one.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I can't give a yes or no. It depends. I think it's the wrong thing to do and I like to be this mission, but I'm open to it, depending what happens in the next.
Got it.
Yes, we need to have pushback against Trump.
Absolutely aye.
Yes. Yes, we need to do everything in our toolkit. Yes.
Got it. Last one of the rapid fire. Virginia voting rights restoration for felons upon release amendment. This would provide for the restoration of voting rights to individuals convicted of felonies upon release from incarceration. Starting with them.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Got it. So we made it through the rapid fire. Now we're back to the 3-minute conversation. So the second question, we're going to start with Vanessa and work our way around like we did before. What do you think will be your policy focus in your work as delegate? What's your number 1 priority as delegate? You each have 3 minutes.
Yeah, I think this was the hardest one for me on the questions. It's hard to choose. But here's what I would focus on. I think that my main focus would be to make sure that all people in our district and all Virginians have a shot at a good, safe, and stable life. And for me, that means that we have to fight for our workers and make sure they have the right to organize. So I'm 100% against the right to work laws. We need to have a living wage so that our teachers and our essential workers are actually able to live in our communities and pay for basic necessities. I 100% support paid and family leave, and I think that's really important for us. I remember as a kid, my mom sometimes had to choose between, staying at home because she was sick or having to work, and I think no one should have to choose to make that choice. I also, of course, support more affordable housing. And again, I think it's really imperative that we create innovative ways so that the people that belong in our city, in our county, are able to actually live here. And also, when I think about my kids, I would like for them to stay here in the city, in the county, and even for our retirees, and that's becoming increasingly difficult for them. And last but not least, of course, fighting for the rights and safety of every Virginian.
There are a lot of really important issues, and I am dedicated to our democratic values. But here's 2 things that I uniquely bring to the table. One is my experience with civics education, and the other is the economic development related to tourism. Civics education is the foundation of our democracy, and ultimately, this is going to save us from the current administration. And this is something I am passionate about. We are working in Alexandria every day to promote and interpret Alexandria's full history in the context of our larger national story. And African American history is American history. The other is economic development. Northern Virginia, as you know, it has been ground zero for DOGE and Trump cuts. And I personally have been affected at work when they tried to eliminate the Institute for Museum and Library Services. Tourism in Virginia is our #2 industry, and it is an important part of the Northern Virginia economy. I know in Alexandria this past year, we hit $1 billion with the B dollars in visitor spending. I mean, that is just incredible. And think about that on our Commonwealth scale. We need to continue our investments in the tourism sector. I have experience in the tourism field in economic development. I've worked with the Virginia Tourism Corporation. I've worked with Visit Fairfax, and obviously I work with Visit Alexandria. And this is what I do as part of my job. And I bring that unique experience to the General Assembly. But I will tell you, on day one, I want to support and focus on legislation that will help support our Fairfax families. Thank you.
My platform is dedicated first and foremost to maintaining and improving the quality of life for my constituents. The most important way to achieve that goal is to listen to them. I want to have my finger on the pulse of the constituency and use the many tools available, including polls and civic meetings. Too often, people in my community feel that local and state government is not listening or representing them well enough, leaving them feeling sometimes disenfranchised and voiceless. I listen to everybody as a civic leader. I work with everybody. I strive for consensus when many have given up on that goal. Expecting me to have a complete platform now, as I said before, is a bit unrealistic. I can't make decisions in a vacuum. I've had 24 hours. I want to see what's been done before, what's being proposed today, talk to the experts, the interest groups, talk to the constituents. If I win the primary, I'll roll up my sleeves and figure out the complex issues critical for the job, as I've been doing my whole career. A recent example of my work is on the AT&T site development, where only a few people understand the plans and impacts. That's in Oakton, by the way, and as well as I do. I'm a representational Democrat. I'm not an activist with an agenda. I think that I'm a voice for the people. My positions will never stop being reshaped, but I have prioritized some issues based on some constituent feedback and my own ideas. I promote development of modern infrastructure, especially transportation infrastructure. You're fortunate to have your own roads here. We don't in Oakton. We're at the mercy of VDOT, and we suffer a lot from that. Using advanced technologies to use existing resources more efficiently, increase investment in public transportation, improve the Chainbridge corridor, and align VDOT policies with local needs. We need legislation that supports mitigating the impacts from rapid growth on the environment, traffic, and provision of services. We need to support immigrant communities, which give us the rich diversity that makes our region great, and who've been suffering over the past year really horribly. Finally, we will push forward, the Democrats will push forward on linchpin issues, social issues like reproductive rights and same-sex marriage. But on other issues, I think we need to use our new trifecta in state government and that advantage to find consensus, to find long-term politically sustainable solutions versus ramming things through that will be shifted back and forth and back and forth. I think we can find consensus on these issues using the position that we have. Thank you very much.
If I can, I'm going to take a little cheat way around this question and tell you the North Star I will carry down in Richmond, and that is prosperity. We have so many issues in this district, in this county, in this region, that if we just focus on someone being able to prosper, to grow, to sustain themselves, that will make the decision to vote on the floor. Prosperity is just not those who are in this room who can vote, it's those who are on the scene. Something I did when I worked in the General Assembly, I passed active legislation that would protect our most vulnerable, and I don't just say that, I can prove it. We have a human trafficking issue here in Northern Virginia that's unseen, and we were able to pass legislation to truly combat that. I was able to put the focus, the hearts, the concerns of domestic and sexual violence survivors at the heart of the General Assembly by passing legislation that ensured that they had access to justice. Justice and prosperity go hand in hand. With this idea of prosperity, it will guide how we are using those dollars. We are going to have a major budget shortfall coming up. Georgia passed Medicaid work requirements before it was mandated by the federal government. It cost them $80 million just for the administrative back end. We are expected to do that within years in the next 12 months. We have some hard decisions to make, and it will come down to dollars and cents. And it's upon us to have that mindset of the individual and their prosperity, their sustainability, and their growth in mind. There will be some folks in Richmond who will want to make the decision to cut some very strong federal programs, state, community, and social service programs. That's not an option. We need to keep those strong. We'll talk a little bit later about corporations coming in and supporting economic growth. But as we're supporting economic growth, I don't want to keep businesses in mind as the ones getting a tax cut. I want to keep our workers in mind as the ones that are getting an uplift. That's prosperity. As we go down to Richmond, I want to bring that mindset to ensure that young folks like George Mason, where are we? We're here, right? We want these, thank you. We want these beautiful minds to be able to stay here and prosper and grow and grow roots and raise their children and the next generation and have this sense of place. And Virginia's in a place to do that. When it comes to dollars, when it comes to returning the tax dollars we send down Richmond back up here. Our region is in crisis due to the federal government decisions. It's time to demand that Richmond reinvests in us after we've given all of our dollars, cents, and hearts and minds to Richmond. General Assembly needs to put NOVA at the center. We need hands, we need love, and we need support. So prosperity will be the one thing that we're bringing down to Richmond to ensure that everyone can succeed. Thank you.
My number one priority is protecting and expanding the middle class dream that's slipping away from too many families. Here's what that means in practice. Protecting federal workers from Trump's attacks. Thousands of families in this district are scared right now. They need a delegate who will fight for them. Working in Richmond and with our congressional delegation, with unions, with anyone who will help. That's day one work. Making the life affordable again. Trump's reckless economic policies are squeezing everyday Americans in real time. Families and seniors are forced to choose between rent, groceries, medicines, and dignity. Young people who grew up here can't afford to stay. That's a crisis. Our push for smart zoning near transit, fight for state housing investments in Northern Virginia, incentivize workforce housing, and protect renters from gouging. Keeping our schools the best in the nation, Trump is taking a sledgehammer to public education, starving our schools of resources. I defend our teachers, better pay, less bureaucracy. Fight for full state funding so Northern Virginia does not subsidize the rest of Virginia. Cutting red tape on small businesses. I'm a business owner and have been for 35 years. I know what we need. Streamlining permitting process, access to capital, government as a true partner, not as an obstacle. But here's the thread connecting all of this. Our diversity is our power. Our hardworking, vibrant Latino, Vietnamese, Korean, and other immigrant neighbors. They're not a challenge to manage. They're our competitive advantage. Companies want to be where diversity thrives. These will be my priorities. Thank you.
We're going to drill into a little more specific issues in the next couple of questions. Again, 3 minutes. We're going to start with Gretchen and work our way around. The question is, as a delegate, how will you support increasing affordability in Northern Virginia, particularly in terms of increased affordable housing?
Attainability of housing is really at a crisis point. in our community in Northern Virginia and throughout the Commonwealth. The General Assembly plays a major role in the ability to increase incentives for affordable units. We need to give localities the tools they need to implement affordable housing programs, cut through the red tape, and increase the housing stock. Governor-elect Spanberger has a whole comprehensive plan and that she wants to work on. And one of the important parts of her platform, and it would be a priority of mine, is increasing funding in the Virginia Housing Trust Fund to expand affordable housing and expand the Virginia Eviction Reduction Program to keep those affected by the Trump cuts in their homes. And I look forward to working with the administration on these issues. Thank you.
Cost of living is one of the most important issues in our area, from housing to energy costs to food prices. I'm one of the fortunate ones that bought my home 25 years ago, but I couldn't afford to buy my home today at the current prices and interest rates, and it's a fairly modest home. I have 3 grown children, and I can see the issue through their eyes. Young people are being forced out and are choosing to leave the region in search of affordable lifestyles. I should note that it's critical to engage the youth in every part of my legislative work, because we lose touch with what is most important to enable them to stay and thrive in Virginia. Our future is lost. There are a lot of policies that could help enable affordable housing. I understand there was some good legislation passed last year and more good legislation being proposed this year. To be honest, I'm not an expert on this issue. I need more time to research, talk to experts, interest groups, fellow legislators, and of course my constituents. I've told many people with respect to the AT&T development in Oakton, that I like the idea of higher density mixed use development, which allows for more affordable housing. But it must properly address the impacts of transportation services and the environment. I was part of a county parking reimagined working group, and I 100% agree that we need to rationalize and right-size parking, which is a huge waste of resources and raises the price of everything in our region. Regarding the potential for rapidly rising energy costs in the region due to the new data centers, again, I'm not an expert, but it seems that there could be new rates specifically addressing data centers and other high-demand electricity users who are going to drive up the price by requiring additional transmission infrastructure. I think that most people support a $15 minimum wage, which will help lower the lower-income folks with affording food and other basic necessities. I have a little bit of time. I wanted to say something I didn't have time in the beginning. I really appreciate all the work you all have done, but I have to say, and I'm sorry if it has to be said, but I have to say that I'm really disappointed with this process, and I think that it needs to be said that people are feeling disenfranchised in the Democratic Party at the national level, at the state level, in New York City, and I feel like this process, whatever happens, it can't happen again. Because again, I was out of town. I just barely got on this stage today. That can't happen. If people don't have the opportunity to participate, then they'll feel like they are disenfranchised and they don't have the opportunity. So whatever happens, it has to change. Thank you very much.
As noted, affordability is a major issue across this region, especially in this district. And yes, we'll go into housing and what that means in affordable housing, but for me, affordability starts with home. It starts with health. We have thousands of caregivers in this district who are giving millions of dollars a year to free labor, but they're not being supported. That's not allowing for affordability, because how are they supposed to support the household? How are they supposed to pay their bills when they're taking care of a loved one? We need to take care of them to ensure that's affordable. Affordability beyond that is also health of an individual. As I alluded to earlier, Medicaid work requirements are going to hurt. I've worked with brain injury survivors that seem to be able-bodied and probably would be classified as so by a primary care physician who knows nothing about the issue. But when they go into the workplace, they struggle, and they struggle to keep that job. So they keep getting fired, they keep going into this cycle of saying, well, to keep healthcare, I have to keep trying. And keep roadblock over roadblock over roadblock. Medical debt is the largest source of debt in this nation. That's inaccessible. That's unexcusable. We are the richest nation in the world, and we need to make sure that folks aren't taking a fall and having to live on the streets, and we know that's true. So that means taking the duty upon the Commonwealth to uplift those who are getting kicked off healthcare, ensuring we're filling that gap and supporting their entire system. When it comes to housing, absolutely, we need to invest in the Housing Trust Fund, but there's also other innovative ways. We've been begging Richmond to make long-term investments into our metro system, a lifeline for our folks here, right? If we didn't have that access to DC, a lot of folks would not be able to properly work and support, right? Or our roads would be even worse than they are, which no one wants to see. So if we actually ask Richmond to properly invest in WMATA, maybe a 10-year plan, a stipulation of that would be having affordable housing requirements for certain counties that are benefiting from that investment. To make sure, yes, we know we are doing it here in the city of Fairfax and Fairfax County, but keep it enshrined in that budget agreement. And, something we are seeing in Arlington that I would love to see the state possibly weigh into is the issue of single housing homes, or lots. We have, 2 acres for a single lot when there can be multiple affordable dwelling units on there for kids, for families, for loved ones, for aging parents. But that's not an option right now. Virginia has the tools and the weight to ask localities to uphold their end of the bargain by funding transportation, the Housing Trust Fund, and more by changing what we're seeing in our backyard. So, when you think about affordability, I want us to think higher, keep health in mind, and do all that we can to secure it. Thank you.
To you on affordability, so.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, no problem. How's it going? Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I haven't been sleeping well.
You're not the only one.
I'm watching families who've lived here for generations get priced out. Young people can't afford to stay. Seniors struggling in their golden years. That breaks my heart, and I'm fighting to fix it. Here's my approach. Smart zoning reform, allow more housing near transit, done thoughtfully, preserving neighborhoods' characters. Work with local government, not dictate from Richmond. State investment. Northern Virginia sends billions to Richmond in taxes. We deserve Housing Trust Fund investment back. I fight for our fair share. Workforce housing incentives. Give developers tax breaks for including affordable units in market rate projects. Make it profitable to build housing working families can afford. Protect renters. Anti-gouging measures. Longer notice periods for rent increase. Stronger tenant protections. And mixed-use development. Encourage projects that combine housing, retail, and offices. Like what we're building in Tysons, create walkable communities that reduce car dependency and cost. I'm going to be honest with you. This is a long fight. Anyone promising to fix it is lying. What I promise is to show up every day, build coalition across jurisdictions, and deliver smart progress. That's how you solve difficult problems, not with grand promises, but with persistent work. I've spent 35 years in business and 3 terms on Fairfax City Council doing exactly that. I know how to bring people together and get things done. I do the same in Richmond on housing, because families shouldn't have to choose between rent and groceries. Seniors shouldn't have to choose between medicine and dignity. And our kids and grandkids deserve to be able to stay in the community that raised them. Thank you.
I think there are lots of really great ideas that have been already outlined. So here's my 2 cents on this. I've actually experienced firsthand what it is to almost lose your home because you cannot afford your mortgage. And I know what that did to my family, to our mental health, to our just emotional well-being. And that was very difficult for us. So I think this is an incredibly important issue because it's not just about trying to live, in a cool place. It's about safe communities. It's about communities that feel supported for our young people and also for our senior citizens who are also very, very vulnerable in this. And I also want to say that access to a safe and stable home also creates multi-generational wealth, which is really important, particularly for underserved communities. So here are the 3 things that I would support. First of all, resources to keep people in their homes. And yes, lots of support for rental assistance. There's also this new phrase that I've learned, which is home sharing, which I think in my family we've done always. And I think in our families we always home share, but it's like a new policy. So yes, we should do more of that. The other piece is, yes, create more affordable housing. And anyone that's developing in this area, they should create funding to have affordable housing and also to help first-time home buyers. Because again, anybody that wants to build development in this district should put some money forth for affordable housing. And then the last piece is we're gonna have to be innovative with partnerships. And I think there's a lot that we can do with faith communities. There's obviously business in New York City and other cities across the country. Office buildings are being retrofitted for housing. So I think those are some of the ideas that we can put forth. Thank you.
Well, thank you for the candidates. We're right on schedule, on time. Just a quick shout out because the mayor is here. When it comes to action in the city of Fairfax, if you don't know about it yet, Beacon Landing, which we broke ground for, 54 permanent supportive housing units in the area. Hey, Richmond, pay attention. You can do it as a community. 13 different streams of funding. It takes work, and so thank you all for thinking about that. We're ready to move on to our next question. This one, we'll start with Douglas on it. How will you work as a representative of this region to help bring money back to Fairfax County Public Education? 3 minutes, please. Sorry. 3 minutes, as usual, on the clock.
Okay, I won't be 3 minutes, but thank you. Fairfax County, as we all know, is well known for its excellence in its school system nationwide and even globally. It must be maintained and improved. It's a major driver for the local economy and dramatically improves the quality of life of the people who live here. The impact of increases in property taxes to cover the FCPS budget is a major pain point for our community. And yet we're still falling behind with competitive teacher salaries, programming, class sizes, and services. My kids felt the impact of budget cuts at their schools, especially with extracurricular activities like marching band and letting go of some exceptional part-time teachers. I assume that our local legislators have been developing solutions since we've known about this issue for years. If elected, I would look at past and currently proposed legislation, talk with fellow legislators in the county school board and other states experiencing similar issues where there's high-income areas that are supporting and not being equally supported with the tax dollars, and develop new or support proposed legislation in the next session. Thank you.
So for every $1 we send down to Richmond, we get about 25 cents back. That's inexcusable. As I noted earlier, for decades, we've been uplifting the wealth of the Commonwealth of Virginia as the Northern Virginia area. And it has to stop. We are at a turning point where we need the state to step up for us. It costs about $20,000 a year to educate one student. The state gives us a little over $5,000. That means your local taxes are spending $15,000 to fund outside of the state dollars to educate our students. And we have world-class education. We have some of the best students around. And we need to keep it that way. We need to keep our teachers fully supported to make sure they're not going into their own pockets to get things for their classrooms. We need to make sure we have proper custodial staff, support staff across the board. Our IT systems and our school systems are decades behind where they need to be because we aren't able to make the investments we need to. It's time for us to change the LCI, which is the formula the state uses to set the budget for our kids. They see us as the wealthy county, the wealthy region, but all that means is we have to tax higher, put bigger burdens on our folks here for our local taxes, just so the state can keep slacking and not giving their share. Our students deserve better. We need to support them. And also, I want to bring to light, something that the Fairfax County School Board has been proposing is its own tax authority. The school board is at the leeway of our Fairfax Board of Supervisors of what they can and cannot use, and then they have to make major cuts, not with the student in mind, but with the dollar in mind. If we can have diversified our funds and ask the state to do more, we can make sure our students are fully supported. Thank you.
I paid attention this time. Our schools are our strength, and they're under attack from two directions. From attacking public education from Washington and Richmond underfunding us for decades. Here's how I will fight back. Full state funding for education. Northern Virginia should not have to subsidize the rest of Virginia with our local taxes. We pay our share to Richmond, we deserve our fair share back. I build coalitions with other Northern Virginia delegates to make this a unified regional priority. Defend against Trump's cruelty, insanity, and plain dumb blank. I will push back against the cruelty, chaos, and reckless attacks we've seen, especially on public education. I stand with our teachers and families and defend our shared values every single day. Support our teachers, better pay, better benefits, less bureaucracy. Teachers don't need more mandates, they need more resources and respect. I fight for them and our kids. Capital funding for school constructions. Work with Governor Spanberger to prioritize Northern Virginia school construction funding. Our growing population needs modern facilities. Economic development is tied to education. When we attract businesses to Northern Virginia, part of the deal should be supporting our schools. That's how you build sustainable funding. Here's the bigger picture. Fairfax schools are strong because of incredible teachers, engaged families, and our diversity. When students learn alongside classmates from all over the world and hear dozens of languages, they gain real-world preparation for the global economy, far beyond what any textbooks can provide. My job is to protect that, invest in it, and make sure every kid, regardless of zip code or family income, has access to a world-class education. That's what I fought for on the City Council. That's what I'll fight for in Richmond. Our schools are foundation of our middle-class dream, and I put in the work every single day to protect them. Thank you.
So on this is a really personal thing for me, both as because I had access to great public school education, but also with my kids, I also had to engage with the special ed programs and the fact that they are so often under-resourced and our kids are not getting the support that they need. So it is incredibly important for us to get our fair share from Richmond, and I will be a champion to making sure that that happens. I think the idea of working as a delegation and also with regional leaders is the right approach because we have to go at it as a community, as a broader community than just our district. But I believe that we need to resource our kids, our schools, our educators. We need to be competitive in terms of the pay we're giving our educators, and they need to feel supported, especially now when they're being attacked, not just because they cannot afford to live here, but also because the Trump administration is attacking them.
Our state budget is really a reflection of our democratic values. And under the Spanberger administration, we're going to see that come back into fruition. I'm very passionate about public schools as a product of the Fairfax County school system, and many of us in here went to Fairfax County schools and are raising our children in the schools as well. It is vital that we make sure that Fairfax gets its fair share of school funding and that we increase teacher pay. Fairfax has been sending money to Richmond for years, and we have been funding other parts of the Commonwealth. One of the reasons, as we said, that our real estate property is so high is because Fairfax County and the city of Fairfax need to make up that difference in the school budgets. The General Assembly asked JLARC to do a study that basically told everybody what they already knew, that there was a discrepancy in funding. And progress has been made by our Northern Virginia delegation, but there is still much work to be done, and I'm committed to implementing the recommendations in that JLARC study. And since I have a little bit of time, I just want to comment on early child care and education. When I was a new mom, it was important that my kids were in good quality daycare, that they were safe and well cared for, so I could go to work every day. We still have 14,000 eligible families on the wait list for assistance, and it is critical that funding is put into the budget to reduce and ultimately eliminate that wait list over time. Thank you.
We're going to go 3 minutes on this question. A heads up to the candidates. We're running a little ahead of time, so for your closing, we're going to give you the full 3 minutes, not the 1 minute we said earlier. So you get even more time to talk. So you're welcome in advance. So this is the last prepared question. And for this question, what is your stance on the proposed casino development in the Tyson/softball?
Absolutely not. Gambling is a regressive tax on the most vulnerable, and we can't have that. And you look at the tax credits that we are said to be giving to these companies building these casinos, millions of dollars. When we have people struggling today, we are building something that will take their dollars and then also taking their dollars away and putting it into a corporation, a business. Absolutely not. Also, traffic, concerns, all that good stuff. Y'all know it, right? But I know the biggest argument, and we've heard from our labor folks, it's good labor jobs. And that's a hard one. We love our labor folks. We believe in their right to have access and have great jobs, but we can make opportunities elsewhere. When we're talking about incentives with a lot of funding and affordable housing incentives from the state, we can use these tools to ensure that we have union-based jobs, right? We want to make sure unions are at the front. And since we're all in the face of unions, right, something that's huge, especially in construction projects across this region, is wage theft. And this is something that our state has been brought to the attention of the General Assembly for years, for over a decade, and we are still not tackling it. So instead of wasting hard-earned tax dollars on fun gambling places that will bring folks just temporarily to this area, not fully investing in our backyard, who will put forth regressive taxes and take dollars away from our most vulnerable, let's put it back in our community. Let's fund our schools. Let's fund, as Gretchen noted, our pre-K programs. Let's fund our teachers. Let's make sure that people have the access to the care, help, and support they need. Thank you.
I oppose the casino proposal. Here's why. Local control matters. Fairfax County did not ask for this. State senators who don't represent Tyson should not be dictating major land use decisions for our community. Community opposition is clear. Resident Citizens Association, community groups across the district, over 50,000 people have said no. I listen to my constituents. Traffic in schools. Tyson's already struggles with congestions. We have 3 schools near the proposed site. Adding casino entertainment complex compounds both problems. We don't need it. Tyson's is already thriving. It's the economic engine for Fairfax County. We don't need a casino to drive development. We need smart, sustainable growth that serves families and business already here. Better revenue options exist. If we need to diversify revenue, let's pursue economic development that doesn't come with social cost. Here's my position on the process. If this is going to move forward at all, it should be with full community support and a real referendum where voters make the final call, not state legislators making deals behind closed doors. Bottom line, I stand with my constituents. The community has spoken clearly. I oppose this casino proposal. Thank you.
ditto to that, I'm opposed to it. And of course, I would not be someone who overrides or makes deals without the local officials' support. That is just uncalled for. So I think that, the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors were not involved in this decision, so I don't think that's something that I would ever support. But I will also just want to say that if anyone wants to come to our district, again, the voters should have a say. And also, those folks that want to come to the district need to pay their fair share. And if this development will happen, they will need to pay for housing, they will need to pay for transportation, they will need to, again, to invest in the community. And the other point that I want to make is that right now we're facing very important issues. As we have talked about affordable housing, we have talked about the need to invest in our schools. So there are more important issues that I think we need to address versus an issue that, again, the community does not support.
I'm going to make this really easy. I'm a very concise person. We all have the same values. Ditto, you took it right from me, so ditto, ditto, ditto. No one asked for this. No one wants it. The Board of Supervisors didn't ask for it. I am not in favor of this, and I will just vote no.
I'm also opposed. Again, the reason is not my opinion about whether casinos are good or bad. I have a lot of opinions, and I don't think any community in this in Fairfax County is going to advocate for a casino, and I don't think they're a good thing for Fairfax County. But the Miller Heights Neighborhood Association has been working with Tyson's Stakeholders Alliance for a long time on this issue, and we were one of the organizations that advocated to Chairman McKay and Supervisor Palchik to support Supervisor Alcorn's legislative language opposing legislation in the General Assembly authorizing a casino in Fairfax County. As we wrote to them, this is a straightforward and logical approach to address this highly contentious issue. We provide the residents in the Tysons area who would be most adversely affected by this project, the vast majority of whom do not want this project. They've organized and advocated loudly against it with the representation from their local government that they justly deserve. That language was approved last week by a slim majority with both Chairman McKay's and Supervisor Palchik's support. I was disappointed that the language wasn't proposed by Supervisor Palchik, whose district proposed casinos in. There were many polls showing overwhelming opposition to the casino, and I understand that Senator Salim did his own poll and made his decision based on that basis, and I applaud him for that. And for his open, accessible representation of his constituents on this and other issues. Thank you.
Well, we're going to give enough time for everyone to interact with you. So before we do our final 3-minute round in there, just a couple of notes from a former Virginia Municipal League president. Please engage with VML, with VACO, who are there. We care. We're in that conversation. And please continue a great tradition that is out there. Every time we go down to Legislative Day, we've had the privilege of taking David Bulova out for a little conversation about what it's like to be in Richmond. I value those conversations as a council member. We don't know what is in your shoes when you're down there and elected, and you don't know what's in our shoes. So create the space to engage with local officials. It's been invaluable and a great opportunity to share ideas and learn from each other. So keep those groups in mind. That was my plug for VML as we go forward. So we're going to go through rapid fire, starting with 3 minutes, your closing argument.
Since I have additional 2 minutes, I just want to say thank you for coming out. Such an inclement weather and such a last-minute notice. Thank you so much for coming. And I want to thank so much to Laura Stokes and the Fairfax City Democratic Committee. They've been working nonstop for the last 4 or 5 days, put this together, as well as the entire Firehouse primary election. So thank you so much. And my former colleague, John Stehle, for modernizing the event today. So thank you so much. And Josh Alexander for opening his restaurant to host this event. Thank you so much. So in 1977, my family came here from Korea with very little. This community gave us everything. I lived the middle-class dream. Now I'm fighting to get it back for the next generation and for our neighbors for watching that dream slip away. Federal workers are under attack Housing and life is becoming unaffordable, especially for seniors on fixed income. Richmond is underfunding our schools and our communities while we're sending billions in taxes. Red tape is choking small businesses. We pay our fair share. We deserve our fair share back, period. I run a small business. I served as a civic leader. I have earned the trust as an elected official right here in Fairfax. I stand on the business of connection and getting stuff done. And I'm ready to fight from day one. I'm running for delegate to do what I've always done, bring people together and get things done. I am sincerely asking for your vote. Thank you very much.
Well, first of all, I want to thank my fellow competitors. Is that the word competitor? I don't know, my fellow friends here. Because, you know, it's been rough. I haven't slept well the last 2 weeks. But I have a lot of respect for people that serve. And what is motivating me to run in this race is to serve. So I am, again, very much already honored to have gone through this process. And I really hope that I can gain your support. My North Star is our values, not just our American values, but our Virginian values. And that is what I am committed to fight for. And last weekend, I think it was, I went to the Fairfax Democrats holiday party, and our wonderful Senator Mark Warner, he said that Democrats are not about the status quo, they're about the future. And I think that the policies that we're fighting for are about the future, and I am committed to fight for those policies. Thank you so much, and I hope you give me a chance and you vote for me. Thank you.
I deeply appreciate the commercial for Vietnam. Again, I want to express my thanks to the Fairfax City Democratic Committee, the George Mason Dems, and the lifeblood, really, of the 11th District, right? You guys are amazing. Josh Alexander, and also Aaron Yochai with SCDC, we're stoked. You guys have just been phenomenal. This has been drinking from the fire hose. I fully admit that. I want to leave you with these kind of closing thoughts. I grew up here. I know the community. I have a record of effective leadership. I've been fighting in the community for our democratic values for over 30 years. I will take that fight to Richmond, and especially now that we have a Democratic trifecta, yay, we will have the opportunity to make real change and pass legislation that benefits this district, our families, our schools, and our economy. And when it comes down to it, being a delegate, being your delegate, is teamwork. And I promise to listen, to collaborate, and be your voice in Richmond. I know what this job takes. I know the job. I know what to expect. I can hit the ground running on day one and be your effective voice. I have the endorsements of James Walkinshaw, Jeff McKay, our own fantastic Catherine Reed, and dozens of local elected officials that I have been proud to support. I hope that I have your support on Tuesday, and thank you for the opportunity to have this forum today, and I look forward to seeing you at the polls. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Again, thank you to the organizers. I really appreciate everything that you've done and all the long hours you've put in. Many constituents do feel disconnected from the government. I want to be the bridge that connects them by being responsible and accessible as I practice throughout my work as a civic leader. I've shared some of my current priorities. My platform is always evolving and dependent upon my constituents' opinions. Please reach out to me if you wish to share your own ideas. People who know me well, they know that I'm very outspoken, and you've seen a little bit of that tonight. I'm not shy. I say what's on my mind. But I'm also extremely persistent about the things I'm passionate about. When I get a hold of a bone, I don't let it go. And that will serve my constituents well. I'm also a trained diplomat, so I try not to offend. I hope I haven't offended anyone here today. I'll surely make mistakes if I'm elected to this position as I learn the new job and a new portfolio. But with the right perspective and a willingness to learn, I hope to be one of the leading delegates in the House, delivering better government and a better quality of life for my constituents in the 11th District and for Virginia. I look forward to being your delegate. I hope to have earned your vote by Tuesday. Thank you very much.
So the federal manual is running right now with saying that things should be brought to the states should make decisions. And that's a call to us. We have a Democratic trifecta, and we should use our power, our authority, to make sure that we protect the most vulnerable, our disabled, our caregivers, our students, our LGBTQ, and more. Protect our workers. If they want to see the power of the states, this is the time. As a proven policy leader, pushing legislation and change from Fairfax County to the General Assembly, now on Capitol Hill, I know what it takes to pass legislation. I know the inner workings of the politics, the caucus conversations versus the public conversations and more. And I want to promise you, those caucus conversations, and what I say to you, will be the exact same thing. What you see is what you get. I'm standing here not as just one person, but one person uplifting a district of 80,000. I respect and I really appreciate you all being here, uplifting your voice, going out to vote. But we recognize there's tens of thousands in this county who either don't have the opportunity to vote or the right to vote, who need our services more than ever. And it's incumbent upon all of us, anyone who's your victor here, to uplift that vote, uplift that voice. We need to put real Virginians, real concerns, and real vulnerabilities at the heart of what we're doing. If we live from the bottom up, we're gonna grow forever. I hope I earn your vote. You can learn more at denverfordelegate.com. I thank you to all our wonderful organizers today. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you on Tuesday.